Good morning. So, this being a mental awareness week, I felt like I should share the story. Don't mind about this because this is my speaker for now. I'm going to share a story about a guy I met and how he almost ended my life and how he almost killed me. So, I met this guy through a friend and we just kicked it off. I was going out with my friend and then we just kicked it off and then we just started dating. We would go to the best restaurants. Now we don't work in Kenya, but we live in Kenya. We're Kenyans, so we don't work in Kenya. So we are staying in this place. It's like it's still underdeveloped, but there are very nice restaurants here. There are very nice places. So this guy would take me out. He would give me money. He would treat me like a queen. Open doors for me. Can he communicate with my people at home? He did all the right things. And we dated for a while, and then I think the drama started when I went for leave. Okay, our leave days are usually like our leave days were they crossed paths. So by the time I was going to Kenya, he had just come from his leave in Kenya. So he had just come. So while I was in Kenya, he started seeing another woman behind my back. So when he started seeing another woman behind my back, and get this, while I'm in Kenya, he constantly calls my phone from morning to lunch to evening to midnight and he expected me to be always online. And when I was not online, it was like a fight. He would quarrel, and little did I know that these were some of the red flags that somebody who's not mentally sane was portraying. So he would call, and all this time he was calling, like he used to do video calls. So all this time he's calling, I see his background, but I never see this woman on his background. And funny thing is that the lady even told me, like after we got to talking, she told me that but you know what? The guy used to tell me that he has a woman. So whenever he used to call you, I would hide. So that explains why I never used to see in the videos. So in the video calls. So I come back from Kenya. He offers to pick me from the airport. He picks me from the airport. We go home. We drop our stuff. Nini nini. It's Friday. I think it was a Friday or a Thursday. I can't quite remember the day. But I drop my stuff at home and we go to his place. We start having fun, like the welcome back from Kenya, kind of like party. So we drink with friends, we have fun, nini nini, and then all of a sudden, there's a friend of mine, like a friend that I had gotten from the group because clearly I'm the one who joined the guys group. Huh? So a friend of mine comes and tells me, you know what, baby girl, me, I like you, you're a good person, but while you're in Kenya, your guy was having another woman here. So it's like, it's okay. So I chezad chini. When I chezad chini, I kind of like asked the guy. The guy was like, no, there's nothing. I wasn't doing anything while you were around, while you were not around. It's you that I'm with. So meanwhile, I go to the drawers and I open the drawers because I'm used to this place. I go to the drawers, I open the drawers, and lo and behold, I get a swimming costume. I just put it back there. So I didn't even ask about the swimming costume. I just kept quiet about the swimming costume. So I ask him, he refuses. And I actually know this chick. So I know this chick. So I go to his phone, I get some messages. When I get some messages, I take this number, I call this chick. I send her a message. Because now it's Friday, we've partied on Friday, it's Saturday morning. He's still refusing that he has not done anything. So I call this chick up and I tell her, baby girl, please, just because he has now deleted each and every other message, baby girl, please. Okay, I got his phone. I checked. I got the messages. When I confronted him, he deleted the messages. So when I was telling him, like, let's check your phone, he said, like, no, he gave me the phone willingly. So when I checked the messages had disappeared. So luckily, I had taken this lady's number by the time I was checking the phone the first time. So I call this chick I'm like, hey, baby girl, how are you? Woman to woman, send me screenshots of your messages with this guy because now he has locked me inside the room and he doesn't want me to leave. I'm like, what's up? What's wrong? I'm like, yeah, I'm his girlfriend. He has locked me inside the room. He doesn't want me to leave. And mind you, I think that Saturday, I don't even remember what I was going to do, but I had to leave that place for a while. Then I would come back later. So Nini, I tell this chick, send me screenshots. I was like, okay, fine, let me send you screenshots. Then she screenshots her conversation, which includes the guy's number, and she sends me. So I show the guy like, hey, these are your conversations. Hmm? These are your conversations. And then he's like, oh, babe, relax. Nothing was going on. You see, that chick wants me. You see, all the explanations that men give, all the stupid explanations that men give to get out of that situation of being caught cheating. So I don't know what happened to me. I don't know. That man made me feel secure at some point because he always wanted me. He always wanted me to be part of his life. And that would be a day to day kind of thing because I would spend most of the time at his place. So I didn't even like think about it. I just decided, okay, let me just stay behind. Let's talk about this. Let me calm down. At least right now he has admitted part of it that this is something that was happening. So I cool down, I calm down, and then we just decide, okay, let's continue having fun. I mean, it's a Saturday. Let's continue having fun. So what I do is I go back to my place, I shower, then I come back. When I come back, uh, we just continue having fun. It's a Sato. I'm saying the place where he stays, there's like a club and a restaurant, as I mentioned earlier. So we there, we have fun, and then while it's around 9 p.m., the chick appears at that place. When she appears, I'm sitting with this friend of mine that gave me a heads up. And then the guy approaches the chick. And I think they called each other for some reason. They communicated like, yo, I'm around, you come and talk to me. Nini, 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 nini. So um, the chick comes and stands somewhere. There's this like high cocktail tables. The chick comes and stands there, and the guy joins her. Meanwhile, I'm with my friend. The guy joins her and they start talking. And then my friend is like, hey, yo, heads up, that's the chick that I was telling you about. And I know this chick, as I mentioned earlier, I know this chick. So I approach them and I'm like, hey, babe, introduce me to your friend. I need to know who you're hanging around with. Because come on, I've just come from Kenya and I would like to know what my man has been up to. So as a jealous girlfriend, I'm like, hey babe, introduce me to your friend. And then he introduces me like, hey babe, this is so and so, so and so, this is my girlfriend. It was like, oh, okay, it's fine, pleasure meeting you. And then all of a sudden he disappears. I think the situation becomes unbearable for him that two women that he has been with are in the same table. One his girlfriend and the other one his Mpango Kando girlfriend. Mpango Kando, whatever she was, I don't even care. So the guy disappears and he goes to the room and sleep, and then the lady also disappears, and then I'm there like, have they going to have sex? Like, who in your right mind, what would you also think was happening? So me, I sit here with my friend, and then something just tells me, text him and tell him you're seated here at the restaurant still, and ask him why he has disappeared, but you're okay. So I text him like, hey, you've disappeared. Where have you gone to? I'm at the restaurant here still, and I'm having a drink. Would you mind joining me? But if you went to the room to sleep, I'm okay. Let me just have a friend here. Let me continue drinking with him. So why? I think he gets furious at the thought of me seated with another man. He comes. He comes angrily, and by this time, my friend has gone, and I'm seated with another guy. So, just chatting, like normal conversation, like nothing really was. I was like literally not talking to about. We were not talking about anything that's peculiar or anything that's related to relationship or anything. We were just having conversation. So He comes and he starts fighting with this guy for no apparent reason, and then he like hits me, and then the security come and they separate the two, and then like that was the first sign I should have seen. Like not even the first sign, the 100th sign that I had ignored that I should have seen and I ignored. But I didn't. Like I'm there taking these red flags off and ignoring them. I'm just ignoring these red flags. So he hits me, and after they fight, they're separated, and then he's like, "Oh, babe, I'm sorry, nini nini." And there's a group of friends seated there. So he tells me, "Let's join this group of friends and drink." So we just sit there, we start drinking, we have fun. He starts buying for people shots, mini shots, shots. So we're having shots until around 3 a.m. 3 a.m., the people around me have already noticed that he is kind of like in a mood too. He's not in a good mood. So they're like, you know what, baby girl, if you need to go home, because this is not a good environment, if you need to go home, here is a taxi. One of us has a taxi. We will drop you home. It's okay. We can drop you home. It's fine. So I'm like, okay, fine. You see, I also feel like this is not a comfortable environment. Let me just go to the room and take my bag, then come back. Then I do what? Let's go. So I don't know, for some reason he just picks my hand, like he grabs my hand and just starts pushing me like, let's go to the room. So as we're walking towards the room, I tell him, you know what, I can't handle your violence today. I'm going to pick my bag and then I'm going. So when you get to the room, what he does, he takes the keys and he locks the door and jumps on the bed and pretends to be completely drunk. Of course, you're drunk, but he pretends to be like completely gone off. And the other ladies, the other friends of mine keep calling me, yo, the car is at the gate, we're leaving. Yo, Nini, Nini, why are you not coming out? So I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm coming out. It's just that this guy has locked the door. So what happens is I start unscrewing the door manually with like a screw. I open the drawers and I start unscrewing the door. I unscrew. When I'm almost done, he wakes up and looks at the door and he's like, yo, she's almost leaving this place. And that's when he hits me the first time. Oh, a blow. When he gives me a blow, I fall down. When I fall down, I think I fall on a sufuria, the kitchen stuff, like the kitchen utensils. So I fall on the kitchen utensils. I hit my head, but I didn't notice that I've just hit my head. So I fall on the sufuria, and when I wake up, I have the sufuria on my head. Then I remove the sufuria, and then I think out of just defense, I had a knife in my hand. So, guys, when I tell you, you will never know what you can do until you want to defend yourself. If you've never been in that situation, trust me, you cannot know what you're doing, because my only instinct was to defend myself at that point, because this guy at this point wants to kill me. So I stood with a knife, this big butcher knife. So I stood with a knife in my hand and I'm targeting his torso. Like I'm looking at this lower part of the chest where the heart is. I'm looking at it and it's like beating and it's like inviting me to stab, 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 stab. So my only instinct is to defend myself at that point. So when he comes, he makes a step towards me. I put the knife up. I'm like, you come close to me and I'm stabbing you. And then for some reason, I think he thought twice and he's like, okay, no. He takes 2 steps back. And what I do is I throw the knife down. When I throw the knife down, it hits down and it stands like this. So it's an opportunity for somebody to pick the knife and just continue with whatever he's. So he tells me, okay, fine, I'll open the door for you, just go. So while he's pretending to open the door, I walk towards the door. He grabs me again, starts choking me to death, and I mean choking like he's killing me, and he's saying, "I am going to kill you." He starts choking me, and I can't breathe. I don't know, for some reason, like an idea came to me, like press his eyes. So you took my hand and started pressing his eyes. When I pressed his eyes, he felt like pain and he let go of me. When he let go of me, I quickly ran to the bathroom. When I ran to the bathroom, he's like, yo, open this door. He starts hitting the bathroom door like he wants to break it down. Open this door, open this door. For some reason, he changes his mind. He relaxes for a few seconds or a few minutes, and then he comes and tells me, okay, fine, I've opened the door, come out of the bathroom and go. So because I know the sound of the front door opening, when he opened, I felt like, yeah, he has opened it for real. So I come out of the bathroom and rush outside to outside the door. And when I rush outside the door, he bangs the door behind me. When he bangs the door behind me, I'm still standing at the door. And he trying to check for my phone so that I can call the other ladies so that they can at least drop me home. So by the time I try calling them, kumbe they had already left. So I'm here at this door. It's 3 a.m. and I start walking towards the gates. All of a sudden, I hear something hit me. He had opened the door, taken a table, these coffee tables, and just hit me pow with it. When he hits me, I fall down. He goes down. He still comes on top of me and starts choking me. Meanwhile, the security does not see this, but the security cameras have clear view of what's happening. But since he's the one, he's in charge of security, so there's and the cameras and everything. So nobody is there in his office checking at what is happening. He's the one who's people answer to, people check on to, like, yo, what happened? Let's see what happened. So, and he's the one who's being violent with me. So he's on top of me. He starts hitting me. So I don't know where I garnered some strength, and I just pushed. While he was choking me, I garnered some strength. I think I hit him, and I just pushed him out. He moved like he was falling down, and then as I was waking up to go, like, there's a stair that goes towards the swimming pool, because where he stayed, it's near the swimming pool. As I was taking a step towards the pool, he pulls me to a point that I hit this part of my head on the stairs on the swimming pool. And guess what? I pass out. Yes, I pass out. I don't even remember what happened after that, because the last thing I remembered was being on the stairs trying to go. And he like grabbed me, and like I fell and I hit this part. When I hit that part, what happens is, when I pass out, the next thing I remember is that I wake up and it's light. Remember, it was 3 a.m. and I wake up and I see light. And I'm there like, so for how long have I been off? And then the minute I wake up, I can't even recognize the place that I'm in. Hmm? I start looking at like at the environment, and as the memories come back of what was happening, as like it, everything in my head had just disappeared. As the memories continue coming back, tears start just falling off my and when I of my eyes. When I wake up, these security guys, the other security guys, the other personnel, leave alone the other security personnel, they're standing in front of me, like they're surrounding the bed, because I woke up in the bed and I think he had opened my clothes. I think he had done basic first aid on me. So when I wake up, these security guys are here, and the first thing they asked me, Madam, would you like to press charges? Before I even utter a word, this guy says, this is my wife here, and this is my wife in Kenya, so there's nothing you can do. And the country that we're living in, they believe that women are supposed to be punished through battering when they do something wrong. So the guys just left. Can you believe it? The guys just left. So the first thing that I did is that I took a phone and I called my best friend. I like, hey babes, if I die today, just know it's this guy who has killed me with violence. That's it. And then my friend is like, where are you? Where are you? I'm like, I'm at his place. He's like, okay, fine, I'm coming for you. I'm coming with the taxi. We're going to the hospital. Meanwhile, he stood there just dumbfounded with a stupid smile, like he had won. Trying to convince these guys that this is my wife, so I can discipline her when she has done something wrong. So and they're like, okay, it's fine, fine. So I wake up, because when I fell down, I think all of my clothes were like, I felt like on mud or something. All of my clothes were wet, and I had mud all over me. I don't know if they tried pouring water on me, because I was wet from top to bottom, and I was full of mud. So my first thing was like, my best friend is coming. She's coming to pick me. We're going to the hospital. So I tell him, I want to go, and don't stop me right now. And guess what he does again? He locks the door. When he locks the door, he goes for like 5 minutes, I think, to contemplate what had happened. I think to calculate his moves from that point. When he comes back, he when he comes back, he opens the door, and he does this. He takes some money, a bit of dollars and euros. He puts them. He gives them to me. I'm like, if this is the price you want to give me for paying for almost killing me, I don't want the money. And then he's like, yo, you need the money because I heard you saying you're going to the hospital to check, to do an MRI, to check if you're okay. But like, I decided, okay, fine. He put the money in my bag, and at the back of my mind, I mean, he caused me damage. So then right here, I'm taking that money to go check myself. Hmm? Okay, so my friend comes and we go to the hospital. I go for a checkup, and all this while, like, I would sit, and then, like, I would have my eyes would just go black. Like, my eyes are open, but all of a sudden I'm just like, it's like I'm in a dark room for like a minute or a second, and then the light just comes up. So I thought these were the effects of hitting my head. So the doc gave me some drugs. He told me, like, there's whatever. He gives me some relaxation periods, time, and relaxation methods, the things that I needed to do. And if I felt this type of way, I should go back to him. Nini Nini. He checked on me. I paid the bill, and then I just went home. When I went home, a few days down the line, he calls my best friend. Of course, I tell my best friend the side of the story. He calls my best friend and he gives his side of the story. And then they decide for some reason that they need to meet me. But then again, the day I walked out of that door is the day I left, that the day he hit me. That's the last day that I decided that he's going to do something to me. The first and the last time he has ever hit me, and I'm not going to entertain that just because I'm in a relationship with somebody who owns me. Okay, somebody who feels like at least he feels like he owns me. So, okay, some of the red flags. Let me mention some of the red flags that I experienced, and I did not take keen notice. Number one, when you would go to places, like we go to restaurants, we go to clubs, nini nini. So there's an MC in a club. He would first get us a table and then goes to the MCs, tells the MC, you tell, uh, you tell. You tell everyone that she's Rose is here and she's with her man, so and so and so. So those were like marking his territories. And then I realized most of the time I used to spend time at his place. There's no day he would spend time at my place. Yeah? And most of the time we used to do things that he wants, which means that everything that we used to do used to center around his interest. And that's a characteristic of a narcissist. And that's what the reason as to why I made this story like a mental health kind of story, because after all he had done after all he had done he still came out and told me like I was wrong. He still came out like jovial, like nothing had happened. He still came out feeling like I don't know, to some point I was like, this guy is just bipolar, because he still thought that the relationship is going on after all doing all that. And then I got to realize that as I got to know him, as I got to take keen notice of what I used to see in the relationship, I realized that he had suffered from childhood traumas from his home. He's the only boy. They are the only lady. The parents gave birth to him amongst ladies, so he has had toxic masculinity from when he was young. He has had to experience toxic masculinity from when he was young. He has had to be the man of the family from when he was young. So it came out as like he came out a male chauvinist. Mhm. And that's not the way to raise a child. That you are damaging your child if that's how you're raising your child. To feel like masculinity is supposed to be thrown out there. Like you have to be muscular to be a man. No, men can also be weak. Men can also have emotions, and men can also have feelings. Most of the time, I think he grew up in a way that his feelings were suppressed to a point that he would feel like need to cover up for when he had emotional damages. He felt like, I need to cover up this, which means I need to be a macho man, which means I need to be tough, which means no woman tells me what to do, uh, which means I'm a man. Like, basically, that was it. So I think that's mental damage. Basically, I don't even know which type of mental damage that is, but that's mental damage, and it causes mental damage. Raising your child in a way that they feel like they have to be muscular, they have to be feminine, they have to be in a particular way. You're defined to grow up in a particular way because you're born in a particular gender. No, I feel like that's what he grew up in, and I feel like that's what brought him to that position. And get to know this. After I got to know, after the violence and everything, I got to know that this is what he used to do with all his girlfriends that he had. You see. So anyway, so mental awareness, stay woke. Don't stay in a gender-based violence relationship just because the man does everything for you. Rather, the woman does everything for you. He loves you, he takes care of you. Nini nini. Don't stay in a gender-based violence relationship, and just take care of yourself, and just know that. You can survive outside of that relationship. You really can survive outside of that relationship of a toxic mental person. Okay? The best thing you can do is help them, and if they don't are not willing to embrace the help, I mean, just get out of that relationship. To this day, he's still the same man, and I mean, I moved on, and life has been good. Okay, so that's it.